David Moore, Dallas Morning News. You obviously you lost Cooks early in the year, and establishing one of those young receivers after CD in that stretch. Were you able to establish that receiving core behind CD the way you'd hoped to be at this point, or is it kind of?
I mean, established with opportunities, definitely. I mean, I think JT, JB, all those guys have been given a lot of opportunities. I would say Terp. Cavante's probably taken the most advantage of it, particularly not maybe in volume, but with big play production. But yeah, that's something that in my experience is you're always developing the younger players, let alone the younger receivers, and that's where just these games moving forward. I mean, these are important opportunities for those guys.
And when you have a change from the starting quarterback to the backup quarterback, does that even delay or alter, I guess, the progression of young receivers?
I hope not, because, I mean, history-wise, and my experience with quarterbacks is, your second and third quarterbacks actually have probably more reps with those guys, just because how the off-season program is laid out and also how training camp is laid out, preseason games and too. So, sometimes you do see a connection between, Cooper and our guys with the younger receivers.
Clarence Hill, All-City Dallas. You talked yesterday about Cooper Beebe's growth, and can you talk a little about Tyler Guyton? Now he's at the injuries, and has he grown throughout this year? And looking forward to this week's game, does he give you the best chance to win out there, or is it Chuma Doga? How do you look at that?
Well, I mean, we're on a short week, still working. So, but yeah, Tyler's. I would say the biggest hurdle for him has just really been availability. You go back to training camp. He had the illness that he missed significant time, and he's battled through a number of injuries. And I think just him being battling to be available this past week was a step in development, because I mean all young players have to get used to and learn to prepare for this 17-game type season. So, but clearly, yeah, he's improved, definitely, without a doubt. I mean, you can just see the way he's played and some of the things he's done. I mean, he's had some excellent flash plays. Has done some really good things. But then, the next step is going to be consistency, and frankly, I think that clearly starts with availability. So, because my focus for him is just to continue to help him, because when he's available and he plays, he's got a very, very high ceiling.
Mike Todd Archer with ESPN. With Kendricks, has he kind of been any kind of saving grace in some respects on what he's meant to your defense coming in? And you knew him from playing against them. What more have you learned about him?
Well, saving grace. I mean, frankly, I think he's just everything we thought he would be. I mean, it was an excellent, free agent acquisition. Knew it at the time, and then take it a step further. Obviously, for Mike in having a clear understanding of the defense, and it definitely. When you're green dot, your quarterback, he needs to be your number one communicator in the locker room, in those meetings, because, there's so much conversation and interaction that goes on outside of the practice field and the meeting rooms, and Eric has been excellent in that role, and I think clearly, just to look at the way he's played, he's been an extremely productive player for us. He's battled through some injuries, but yeah, he's been a real important player for us, and definitely things run a lot smoother when he's in there, without a doubt.
John Machado with The Athletic. Trayvon Diggs, how did he come out of the game?
Okay, played a lot. I think just the first game back, there was a lot of mileage, for him, or would have been for anybody. But it's a short week, so I think the way we're practicing, helps him. So, he did everything yesterday, but, he's still working through it.
And then just a chance to get those three starting corners back out there again. What was the likelihood, do you think, of that happening?
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, today will be, the most we'll do all week. So we'll have probably about a 70-80% practice of what we normally do on Thursdays. So just, I'm not avoiding anything. It's just, I mean, these short weeks, you got to get through the whole preparation. So, hopefully we line up with those guys again Sunday.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Is Marshawn Nealon in a similar situation as Guyton, just he needs to play and overcome his health issues?
Definitely. I mean, I think Marshawn just the setback with the knee injury, but just watching him respond. I mean, he had surgery on a Tuesday. He's walking down the hall on Wednesday. I mean, he's a tough young man. So I just would like to see him finish the season with as many opportunities as possible, because he's only going to get better every time he lines up.
How do you help young players who are so used to playing a lot in college, and then you get them here and they got to look for their playing time? How do you help them get?
Well, I don't know about helping them. I think rules and responsibilities are important to, as a coach, you got to make sure you have clarity and understanding. And you go back to the first meeting when you have the rookie orientation. They probably walk out of their first day and feel like they're all special team players, because you do make a huge emphasis of how important special teams are, because it's different in college. You have 53 guys on your team, only 48 get to play, but also you have the practice squad guys too that can be elevated. So and some of them are not even aware of that. So I think just making it clear how it works, and how important you're always earning your spot to play on Sundays. So that's just some of the competition that goes on in our game that outside of Sundays that I don't know if everybody realizes. So Monday through Saturday is still very competitive, but I think just having the rules, responsibilities, we have projected play time. You're not always each week saying, okay, hey, on Monday these are the 48 are playing. That's never been the case. So you always have guys that are competing to be up. Whether it's the sixth receiver or the fourth tight end, or the ninth lineman, the ninth, 10th, defensive back. So that's all part of it, and it's definitely different than. Not totally different than college, but I think it's just you got to make it clear, and I think we do a good job of it.
Garrett
Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, in a year where you've had a lot of injuries, how impactful has it been having CeeDee Lamb, even though he's dealt with the shoulder for a while, for him to still be out there each and every week?
Definitely. CeeDee's an impact player. He's one of the best players in the game. It's important to not only what he gives us when the ball's in his hands, but how defenses react to him. Because just where he lines up potentially creates opportunities for others. So CeeDee's a very diligent guy. As far as how he prepares for games. So he's a good example that way for our guys, younger guys. But yeah, he's a huge part of our football team.
Alrighty, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.